What's up, guys? Today I am doing a one-stop shop, all-inclusive glyph tier list video. I feel like I have been wanting to do this video for a long time because glyphs are like so expensive, so powerful, so hard to come by that for new players, like, you really want to be sure you're making the right choice when you finally have the chance to get your hands on a glyph, or a set of a glyph for that matter. So I'm going to do a glyph tier list video. Every piece of information I can summarize into a nice condensed short form. I feel like this video will be really helpful for new players. I feel like I say this in every video, but if you're a top player, this might not be as useful for you. You probably know most of this stuff, but for beginner players, I feel like this is going to be like the ultimate glyph video for you guys. So it's going to be put into two parts. I'm going to do a glyph set tier list, as you can see right here. So I'm basically going to rank the set as a whole, and then I have a second tier list right here where I'm only going to rank individual glyphs, like just one glyph that I think are all amazing, and that I really think new players should be mindful of and keep their eye out for. Because obviously as a new player, you start off by getting one glyph, you don't get three. And most new players only have the option to get one new glyph at a time. It takes a while to get. So I did an individual glyph tier list, and then I have this glyph set tier list where each tier 3 glyph represents the set as a whole. I'm going to start with the individual tier list first, just get that out of the way real quick. A few things to keep in mind before I get started. Sorry to keep talking, but there's so many things to take into account when ranking glyphs. Actually, I'll save that conversation for when I rank the sets, but let me just get this out of the way. These are all the individual glyphs that are all amazing, and if you have the chance to get, you really can't go wrong. They're all like top of the line. They're all so good that I don't ever see them being bad, which is super important in my opinion. I always ask myself when I get a glyph, like, do I genuinely see this being a good glyph like a few years from now? If the answer is not like a resounding yes, I just simply don't go for it, because like I was saying earlier, they're so expensive, so hard to come by, that when you have the chance to get one, you want to pick the best possible one that is going to have some longevity to it, that you're not going to regret a few years from now. Glyphs come out all the time. Like, if I don't think it's going to be amazing, or I think it's going to be replaced, or like a better version of that is going to come out, I don't even touch it personally, and I advise new players to do the same. But let's see if this looks alright. Yeah, okay, so this is the individual tier list. I'm not going to go into why I put these ones. I hope you could just trust me as a new player. If you're a high-end player and you're watching, like, let me know if you think I missed any. But I feel like these are the individual glyphs that are just like a resounding yes. Like, they're just amazing. They all do different things. Obviously, you can go in-game and check the description yourself. But just to entrust me, I feel like you can count on this tier list to be accurate if you want like individual glyphs and you're just starting out to pick some. Go with any one of these on this list and you'll be fine, no worries. So that's that. And then part 2 is this glyph set tier list, which I'm going to rank with you guys, do a little bit more in-depth analysis. But a few things to make note of with sets is there's a lot more you have to take into consideration when going for a set than just an individual glyph like right here. A few things to make note of for sets are one thing I'm going to make note of when I rank these is one, I'm going to take into account the set bonus and the power of the individual glyphs combined. Like, how are they as a set when you put all these glyphs together? You take into account the individual bonuses and the set bonus. The second, and arguably more important than the set bonus themselves sometimes, is which shapes do these glyphs take up in your hero glyph slots. And there's a few reasons that's really important. One is your hero might not have the slots necessary, and two is you have to realize, like, if you pick a certain glyph set for a hero, are you disabling your ability to get another glyph set as well. So for example, if I pick a Halloween set, I can't put a soccer set on. So you have to like really weigh out and discern like which one is best, and realize like you might be taking up shapes and slots that stop you from using other glyphs as well. So all of that's going to be taken into consideration. I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm only going to give like a really brief explanation of each set. And if you have more questions, just literally comment below, and myself or other top players that watch this video will be glad to help you. But yeah, let's get into it in no particular order. Again, this is all my opinion. Some people's opinions might differ. I'm also going to take into consideration that this is more leaning towards newer players. So, like for example, I think these glyphs are these glyph sets are arguably S tier, especially for new players, because one thing to take into account is they're so easy to get your hands on. Arguably the easiest sets to get. So for that reason, I'm going to put them in S tier. For high-end players, if you have like infinite resources, some glyph sets are better because you can get them to gold resonance. But this is more leaning towards new players. And yeah, I'm going to leave those there. I think that's accurate. They're super easy to get. The best offensive glyph sets, arguably. This set is really similar in a lot of ways. I'm going to put it in A tier because you pretty much have to spend a lot of money to get it, whereas these two sets are a lot more free-to-play friendly with all the events you can find the shards in. But if you have infinite resources, these sets are pretty interchangeable. Winter and soccer are both good for offense. The big downside with them is they're not great on defense, but everyone needs offense in some capacity, so they're definitely good. I think winter's a little more well-rounded because the individual glyphs are a little bit better in my opinion. But you can choose either one. Halloween set, I'm gonna put in B tier. I showed you guys in this glyph tier list that the star is amazing, but I'm not a fan of the set bonus. I'm not a fan of the square or the triangle. Top players don't really use anything in the Halloween set aside from the star nowadays. So as a set entirely, I think it's B tier. The star is arguably one of the best glyphs in the game though, but as a set, if you're a new player, I honestly don't recommend going for the set. Just get the star and you'll be good. Yeah, that's my honest opinion of it. This set I think is B tier as well. It's just too situational. Another thing I want to mention is that glyph sets, because they're so hard to get, I simply would never get a glyph set that isn't amazing, for a few reasons. One is if it's not amazing, another glyph set will come by in the near future that is amazing and that is going to cost the same exact price or be worth the same amount of resources, and you're just going to end up replacing your mediocre glyph set. New glyph sets come out all the time. Like if I don't have undoubtable certainty that it's amazing, I don't grab it personally because I think, oh, IGG's going to add a new set in a few months that's just going to be way, way better. So I'm mentioning that because, yeah, I'm ranking every glyph set, but if it's below A tier, I honestly wouldn't put my hands on the set. Obviously, there's individual glyphs in each set that you might want to grab, but as a set, if it's below A tier, I honestly wouldn't even go for it. And there's obviously an exception if you're a really high-end player. Every glyph set you can make S tier if you really like optimize your strategy around it, I'm sure, and you have it at gold resonance. But for the average new player that doesn't really know like how to differentiate each glyph set, I just would follow this as like a general guideline until you really know what you're doing. So I think this is B tier personally. It's really like situational. Nothing's like widely applicable to like just put on a hero and hope it does really well, aside from the square maybe. This glyph set is amazing in my opinion. So many top players use it. It arguably has the best combo of 3 individual glyphs in the game. The triangle is amazing. The square might be the best glyph of all time. The star is amazing. If it ever gets phased out and loses strength, it's amazing on Bastion heroes too. So I don't ever see it going out of style, like ever. And the set bonus is solid on defense, in my opinion. This glyph set just came out. I'm going to put it B tier for that reason, because I don't know for sure. I think it probably is A tier, though. But I only think it's good at higher resonance, and I only think it's good if you have multiple heroes with it. Because that's where the set bonus really shines, in my opinion. But just for safety's sake, I'm going to put it B tier, because I don't know for sure. It's the rarest glyph set in the game. Just for newer players, I'm going to put it B tier. But it's probably A tier at highest level. Anniversary set, I think it's B tier. It used to be S tier, but now that Spirit Steward is out, it's a lot less relevant. I think some top players will slowly begin to remove this set now that Spirit Steward counters it so hard. Another thing is that if an enemy doesn't use silences in their lineup, the glyph set is like really useless. The star is like really bad, the triangle is really bad. The Hex from this tier list, as you can see, is amazing. One of the best glyphs in the game defensively, but as a set, I think it's just okay. Sometimes it's really good, sometimes it's useless, so for that reason I'm going to put it B tier. Same with this glyph set. It activates Anniversary set with the silence, making it like not in your favor to use it sometimes. It's honestly stronger now that Spirit Steward came out, though. But like I said earlier, if a glyph set isn't amazing, I don't even touch it. Like, I don't think it'll last in terms of a few years down the line. So I'm not a fan of it personally. It's okay on defense, but it activates Anniversary set, which is like a big no-no in my book. So I don't touch it personally. It also takes up a square and a hex, which is like really inconvenient shapes to take up. It's just okay, in my opinion. Academic, I think this is like one of the best sets in the game for sure. The set bonus is amazing. All the glyphs individually are amazing. It's too good to ever be bad, ever, I think. Like, I don't think this glyph set will ever be out of style. And it's one of the few glyph sets, I think, where you can literally get as many as you want, and there's so many heroes you can put it on. Even if you don't know what you're doing, just put it on a hero and it's going to be effective. Really good set. I think the triangle in this set is like a must-have glyph for every level of player, beginner and high-end. So that's academic. Some people might disagree with me, but I think Glacial is B tier. You kind of need it on a melee hero for the set bonus to activate well against enemies. You also need enemies to be bunched up. You also need them to be not invincible. And like I said, it's only good on melee heroes, and the only melee hero at top level is like Shadow Beast or Penthesilea. So it's really situational. Like, if you're not putting it on Penth, it doesn't really have a use. And even if it is on Penth, like I said, it has to meet a lot of criteria to be useful. It has to be in close proximity to enemies, they have to be bunched up, and they have to be not invincible, and the glyphs individually are not that great. The set bonus is okay, though. So for that reason, I'm going to put it B tier. Bless set, definitely the best defensive glyph set in the game. Don't see it ever going out of style. You can get like 10 of these sets and they're still going to be useful because they're good on Bastion heroes. They're arguably like mandatory on Bastion heroes at the highest level, but amazing glyph set defensively. You can put it on anyone, and the real benefit about this glyph set, in my opinion, is on defense. It allows you to not need Berserker aid or Pangoli aid, which were mandatory, but now you can use like Storm Rider, Ravager. It just opens up a lot of aid slots. I think this glyph set is probably C tier. You can make it like really good in defense because it reduces Zephan's skill damage, but the square sucks, the triangle sucks. It's really only good on defense, not on offense. And it's so situational, so I don't recommend going for it. I think this is the worst glyph set in the game, and a lot of people might disagree with me, but I'm going to explain real quickly why. It's often seen mostly on Penthesilea, but it actually makes Penthesilea worse, in my opinion, because the square grants Penthesilea a speed bonus, not attack speed, just a speed bonus, or her movement speed is faster. But the way they coded that in the game, it makes her throw her spears faster. And when she's throwing her spears, she's invincible. So the faster she throws her spears, the quicker she's out of those invincibility windows. She has reduced invincibility time from her skill because she throws the spears so fast. So it actually makes her less tanky, in my opinion. Also, on top of that, the set bonus is the worst set bonus in the game, in my opinion. It blocks 1 instance of damage. And do you really want to dedicate a whole glyph set to blocking what could be just 1 skill or 1 attack? Personally, I don't think so. Individually, the glyphs are okay, though. The hex is great defensively. The triangle is great, as you can see right here. But I don't see this glyph set being used by any top player a few years from now, personally. This glyph set is also S tier, in my opinion. Amazing offensively. Don't see it ever going out of style. All the glyphs individually are great. I also think it's underrated on defense. A lot of people think it's bad on defense because the hex makes your allies take more damage. But at the end of the debuff that makes you take more damage, you heal most of that damage back on paper. So I think it's pretty good in defense and offense. I think it's really good, not pretty good. It's really good. You see like almost every top player use this set. Definitely recommend going for it. This set is amazing. I think it's S tier, honestly, but I'm going to put it A tier because it's only S tier at silver resonance and above. If you're not going to get this on silver or gold resonance, I don't recommend going for it, honestly. On top of that, it's only good on defense, in my opinion, for the most part. And you need it at really high resonance, so it's super like investment heavy. So I'm not going to put it S tier for that reason. But if it's at gold resonance, it's honestly like one of the best defensive sets. So just keep that in mind. This set is like the definition of mediocre. It's just like okay. I would never go for it because for what I said earlier, it's just okay. Like why would you want an okay glyph set? The circle is amazing offensively. Everything else about it is like I said earlier, it's like the definition of just okay. Nothing's amazing, nothing's bad. It's just good damage, good defensive buffs, nothing amazing though. I recommend avoiding it for that reason. This glyph set, it got nerfed so much. The triangle sucks, the hex is mediocre, the circle is okay. The set bonus got nerfed so heavily, and you need it on a hero that spams their skill a lot for it to be useful, like Zafan, for example. And Zafan just has better options now. Same with every other hero that spams their skill. It's such a shame because this used to be amazing, and then they nerfed it. So I recommend avoiding this set entirely. Maybe get the circle on a Bastion hero. But last glyph set, the sheep one. I think this one's, in my opinion, it's the most overrated glyph set for a few reasons. One, the set bonus only activates once a minute before any resonance. At gold resonance, I think it activates once every 40 seconds or so. Like, that's not that great on a glyph set, in my opinion. The set bonus also does damage that's like capped. Like, it's capped at like 2 million. And at the top level, heroes have over 10 million HP. So a glyph set doing 2 million once every minute is like irrelevant almost, in my opinion. The glyph set only activates on nearby allies. It's pretty lackluster too. Like, for example, the square is defensive, the circle is defensive, the triangle is offensive. It's kind of like not, it has its feet in like multiple waters, so to speak. Like, it's doing too many things at once to be good in one specific area. That's why soccer and winter are so good, because they're like all about damage and nothing else. So like they really shine at what they do. I don't know. A few years from now, I don't see top players using this glyph set because it's capped. It activates too infrequently, and I think there's going to be better options that replace it, honestly. But let's see where I'm at right there. Yeah, okay. So that's my glyph tier list video. What else do I want to say? This set could be better. It just came out, so I'm going to be precautious and put it B tier. It could be A tier, maybe even S tier. But I'm going to be safe. Like I said earlier, if you're a top player, you can make any one of these glyph sets amazing if you really try and get it gold. But for the average new player, I think these rankings are pretty accurate, I would say. Put that here. Yeah. I don't know. If you're a top player and you got this far, let me know if you agree or you think I missed anything. I feel like this is pretty accurate for new players, but yeah, I'm at 20 minutes. I'm gonna end the video now, but if you have questions, like obviously you can ask in the comments. I wasn't able to go in depth as I could because I don't want the video to take forever, but I feel like this is a good all-encompassing, comprehensive glyph tier list video, and I hope you guys agree. I have so many videos coming the next few days, but this is one of them. Glyph sets, individual glyphs. If you see it on this tier list, go for it. If it's above B tier on this tier list, go for it, and you'll be making the right choice no matter what, in my opinion. But that's my tier list. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you in the next video. See ya.